Hello everybody and welcome back to Country Living Homestead. Today is the day you've all been waiting for. This is going to be part 4 of our DIY cattle panel greenhouse hoop house build. Let's get to it. Okay, so welcome back. Today we finally are able to get out. We've got the snow melted. We can get to the greenhouse again. The sun is shining. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. And we're going to get back onto this greenhouse build. And if you haven't had a chance, make sure go back, watch parts 1, 2, and 3. And that will get you up to this point. Or if you're not in the mood for watching videos, we have now created a PDF version of this build, which includes all the instructions and materials that you will need, and that link will be in the description below. So let's get to it. Okay, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to start preparing the greenhouse for the plastic. So here's some things that I'm looking at and what I want to do to make sure that we don't run into any issues with our plastic. If you take a look here, these edges of this cattle panel can be quite sharp. So if we're rolling that plastic over there, there is a chance that that could get torn. So here's how we're going to fix that. We've got these 2-inch pipe insulators. So what I want to do is I'm going to wrap these around the edge of the cattle panel. And then I've got a package of zip ties. Those zip ties are going to hold this together and hold it onto that plastic, and hopefully that should eliminate any tears in the plastic. So let's see how this is going to work out. It looks like I am probably going to have to cut like from here to here. So I'll probably have to do a little bit of measuring here and there and just eyeball it, and it looks like you just cut this stuff with like a utility knife, but that's going to fit pretty nice, and it looks like it's going to protect that edge. So that's the idea right there. And then just zip tie it, and that should be good. So just trim it off and then go the whole way up around that edge to prevent any type of tears. Now, something I would recommend, and I wanted to bring this up, is when you're putting your zip ties on, make sure that you're pulling them tight on the inside, like right in there, because if you don't, what could happen, these zip ties, as you see, they could have like a sharp little edge right there, and that sharp edge could end up tearing your plastic. So I'll do an example just to show you what I'm talking about, and let's start getting this stuff put on. Okay, so this is actually working out pretty well, but like I explained before, make sure that you're doing those zip ties on the inside. Again, so that way, like whenever I trim those zip ties off, I don't want those sharp edges that could pose a problem with the plastic. But this is actually working pretty good. I will say that when you're working with this stuff, it's very, very sticky. Like when you pull those, I guess it's like a tape or that stuff right there, it's like a adhesive cover. So when you pull those adhesive covers off and that thing sticks together, it's kind of tough to get them apart. So just a heads up on that. But it does seem to be doing the trick. So I think this is going to work out good. So let's get some more of these zip ties going and get this finished off. Okay, so there you have it. This side is complete. So basically just put those insulators all the way around the edges of those cattle panels. And that actually worked out really well. And I didn't feel the need to take off those adhesive strips. I mean, the zip ties are holding them on there pretty good. So I'm not too concerned that that's going to fall off of there. So it's up to you. I mean, you could do it either way. I did do it on the first couple, but it was just kind of a pain to disconnect them if they got stuck together. So so there you have it. So let's get the other side done, and we're moving right along. So kind of where we head from here is basically prepping this for the plastic. So I want to make sure like it doesn't have a lot of sharp edges, like this edge here, for example. I'll probably just snip that off a little bit with my Sawzall, and we'll get to that here in just a little bit. But my first order of business was to get these protectors on for the end of that cattle panel. So let's get the other side done. Okay, so there you have it. Back wall is now complete and ready for plastic. I will say those 2-inch pipe insulators worked absolutely perfect. Along with the zip ties, that's definitely going to protect that plastic. That gives a lot of room for protection there, so that's awesome. So now, one more thing before we get to the plastic is just to walk around the greenhouse, make sure that there's no really sharp corners like these, and I'll probably just hit those with my Sawzall. So I got to go and grab my Sawzall, and we'll come back, and we're almost time to put up the plastic. Okay, because I am absolutely terrible with my tools, I cannot find my Sawzall, so I guess the next best thing is this 50-cent router that I bought. So I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope this thing works. And if it does, I'm gonna use that just to trim these edges. So let's give it a go. Hey! Check it out. Nice Black & Decker router. And I bought it for 50 cents. Look for the deals. They're out there. Okay everyone, it's time to put the plastic up. I have my little helper here. So this is definitely going to be a two-person job, so you want to have an extra set of hands when you're putting this plastic up. We are using, I know a couple folks asked what we're using. We're using a 6 mil thickness, and it's a greenhouse plastic is really what it is. And so that's what we're using. We'll put a link down below for that if you're interested in getting that as well. But how excited are you to get this up?
I'm pretty excited.
All right, so let's get this going.
We've been waiting a long time, so.
Yeah, let's get this going.
All right.
Okay, so success. We've got the plastic up, and well, there ended up being a rainstorm, so we had to stop for a little bit, but we've got the plastic up. It's looking like a greenhouse now. This is awesome. So the next step, my thought, is I've got these furring strips. They're about 1.5 inches wide. So my thought is I'm gonna roll up these ends because I've got plenty on each side. This was the perfect size plastic that we needed, so that was awesome. So I'm just gonna roll this up, and then I'm going to take these furring strips and attach them on top of the plastic and screw them down. So it's going to be imperative that I try to get this as tight as I can to get that plastic real nice and tight across there. We do have the wind strapping, which is right over here. So we will be using that as well. But I just want to make sure that it's definitely not going to go anywhere. So that's what I'm going to do next. So let's get to it. Okay, so one side down, other side to go. Wow, this is looking really, really nice. Very proud of this. Okay, so there you have it. Both sides are pinned down now, and it's actually pretty tight. That worked out really well. It looks like I might need to put... Nope, I already got one there. Okay, cool. So there's the sides. Now it's time to do the front and the back. But those lathe strips actually worked really well. And it's looking like a greenhouse. So something else I'm going to be using are these ProFit. These, I think they're 1.5 inch. And they're nails that have little plastic heads on them. So there you go. We're going to use these as well as some more lathe strips for the front and back. And we're going to see how that works out. Okay, so I'm probably going to do the front here. And what I'm looking at is probably when I draw this tight, it's going to leave some creases. I don't think there's any way of getting away from that. But I'm almost thinking is just taking some of those nails with the plastic heads, started on here, and then also, just for added security, maybe even take some of those lathe strips and run a lathe strip across there, and then around the frame of the door also. So that way that may help keep this plastic stable on here. I know it might be overkill, but I want to make sure that this plastic stays and it doesn't start getting pulled up in the wind. So as long as I give it, you know, no areas to be able to get any wind in there, I think we're going to be okay. So let's give that a go. Now, something I wanted to show also is that this plastic hasn't been on very long, and it's probably about, I don't know, maybe 60 degrees out right now. But check it out. It must be heating up in there already because there's condensation forming on the inside of that already. And that's amazing. So this looks like it's going to work out really, really well. Okay, now as I go here with these nails, I'm just going to start trimming the plastic and getting that all trimmed out, and then I will be cutting some lathe strips. That's probably going to give that some added protection. And hopefully that should work out really well, but it's looking good. It's looking real good. Okay, so we're getting this front handled, but I have got to walk inside and check this out. Oh, wow. It is absolutely amazing in here. Temperature is definitely much, much higher than what it is outside right now. This is incredible. Let me see if there's... Yeah, there's some moisture. Look at that. There's moisture already starting to show up in here. So it's already heating to a warmer temperature than what it is outside. So this is actually working very, very, very well. I mean, this thing is huge. I'm standing inside of it, and I mean, it is absolutely enormous. I can walk out here to the end just to give you a... I mean, it's massive. It's way bigger than what I thought it was going to be, which is a great thing. I love how the water's just running right off of it. That's a really good sign, especially with the snow that we get. And this is great. This is better than what I was hoping. Amazing. Okay, so I'm going to cut a lathe strip. This looks to be about 42 inches. So we'll do that so that way I can wrap it the same way I did the sides. This is actually coming out pretty good, so I'm going to cut a lathe strip and get this part finished up. Okay, so now the plan is to finish this side off, is to take a lathe strip and go right down this direction and across that direction, and this side will be good to go. So let's see, what is the measurement of that? I'm going to go pretty much down towards the bottom just so it grabs that rolled area. So it looks to be about 84 inches. So I'm going to cut a lathe strip at 84 inches. And hopefully that's also going to help create a nice seal too. So let me go grab that and I'll be right back.